I'm Al.
And I'm Will.
And this video is all about the battle of two brilliant cargo carrying e-bikes. This one, the LE20. The LE20 from Engwe is notable for its mid-drive motor which works with the gears of the bike to produce exceptional torque for both carrying loads and carrying those loads up hills, all whilst remaining completely legal. And the T2 Longtail. The Fiido T2 Longtail is one of our favourite bikes. It can carry loads of stuff, and whilst it has a standard hub motor on the back wheel, it is a lot more powerful than the mid-drive of the LE20 and has that secret rocket mode if you ever need an extra burst of speed. Long press on the M button and a rocket appears, and it seems a rocket gets shot up the back of the bike as well. However, secret rocket mode does technically make the bike illegal on UK roads, so should only be considered if you're where we are,
Alabama,
or if you're planning on riding sensibly in the hopes that you'll be okay. The throttle is easily disabled too.
and you're going to find out which one I like best.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Before we compare the performance of the bikes and find out what the passenger thinks, let's compare the bike's components. I'll put links to the original reviews of each bike in the description, and if you want to watch the cargo bike playlist, that will be linked at the end. So we've got two fantastic cargo passenger e-bikes, both long tail. You can see the seats here. This one has got the cage that you pick up like that. This one has got the cage that is just still. However, it does have some lower parts where people can hold on, so they don't have to have their hands out. This cage is smaller. That is much bigger. A lot harder to get through small spaces. This one can have a basket on the front. This one has got a pretty much permanent basket ledge, which can take a basket. The problem I have with that is that that's how you fix the light on. So if you didn't want this, you'd have to find something else to put this on and jimmy something up yourself. This has got the fatter tyres. It's got thinner tyres, but both road tread. Plastic mudguard, plastic mudguard. Both got front suspension, both lockable. Neither of them have got rear suspension, they're hardtails. Both got colour computers. Both bikes have hydraulic disc brakes, although the Fiido has much larger brake discs, which is helpful when stopping heavier bikes. Actually, let's do a brake test. Fence. Whoa. Whoa, that was impressive. That was 20 miles an hour. From the edge of that fence, that's like just there. That was ridiculously good. Right, now, I wasn't going very fast, but it did skid. Now, ordinarily, I think the road tready tyres are perfect for this kind of stuff, but I don't know if the roads are just a bit oily today or something, or a bit greasy. Speaking of weight, they're both heavy bikes, but the LE20 is about 5 kilograms heavier with all its accessories. Both have a carrying capacity of 200 kilograms, including the rider. Beauty is of course in the eye of the beholder, but I personally prefer the look of the Fiido with the BMX light handlebars and mag wheels giving it a sportier look, although I wish there was a front light bracket so I could remove that tray. The LE20 may not look as cool, but that is probably because you can actually fold down the handlebars as well as fold in the foot pegs. What do you think of the foot pegs on this one compared to the other one?
The foot pegs are better, you can put them down and you've got more space for your foot for them to go on. For the other bike, they're smaller.
I'm not sure I like the ones that flip out. When I did fall off this bike, the foot pegs did break and they wouldn't go in again. And there's a spring on these because they're spring loaded, and that spring came off for me. So you could lose the spring. Whereas the T2 Longtail ones, they're just stuck there. And I think they are a decent size, but they're all right. There's nothing really wrong with these foot pegs, to be fair. The LE20 may not be a full-on folding bike, but even folding the handlebars can help a lot when it's being stored. The Fiido has a brake light, whereas the LE20 has indicators and no brake light. Personally, of the two, I'd choose the brake light, and also the indicators on the LE20 seemed a bit temperamental in that they sometimes didn't want to turn on or off. The Fiido front light is bigger and brighter, but requires that rack to mount it. Both bikes have 20-inch wheels, and as we said, the Fiidos are the fat style tyre. The LE20 may not have fat tyres, but that does help its range. And the LE20 has a monstrous range. After 20 miles of riding, the LE20 battery still had loads left, whereas the Fiido battery would get nowhere near those numbers. Of course, that is probably because the LE20 that I had came with two 19.2 amp hour 48 volt batteries, giving a total capacity of 1843.2 2 watt-hours. The Fiido's single 48-volt 20.8 amp-hour battery, on the other hand, has a much smaller capacity of 986 watt-hours, but that is still very big for an e-bike. Now, in all fairness, if the Fiido is ridden in normal mode, then the range will be comparable to a single battery LE20. If you don't need both batteries, you can buy a single battery LE20 to save quite a lot of money. Having one less battery would also cut down the weight of the LE20. With 60 Nm of torque, the Fiido is actually one of the fastest bikes up Sandy Lane. Not bad for a 40 kg plus cargo bike. Sadly, because the LE20 has a torque sensor and no throttle, we couldn't get an accurate hill climb time. However, when pedalled normally, the LE20 easily gets up hills, and I do believe Engwe's claims that it has 100 Nm of torque, since you can take into account the mid-drive motor's use of the gears. One area where the Engwe has a huge advantage is its maximum height. Whilst the Fiido would be fine for people at the low end of 6 foot, the Engwe LE20 saddle goes so high that I felt like a child riding my dad's bike. I reckon even if you were 7 foot, you'd still be okay on the Engwe. And I think that covers most important comparisons, so let's hear from the person who has to get carried around on bikes to find out which one we'll be keeping. So here is our cargo bike expert, Will. Hello.
Hello.
Which one is easier to get on?
This one.
It is, isn't it? Show us how.
There's a little thing you've got to pull back and then you can lift this up. Okay, so then I get on while holding the seat and the saddle, and I simply get on like this. Then I pull this down.
And it clips into place.
Yeah, and now I'm in.
So nice and easy.
Yes.
Way faster than the other one.
Yes, but now can you help me get out? Another thing with this, I've got to ask for help to get out, but the other one I can just simply get out by myself.
So the other one, you can actually just get out on your own because it's just a case of climbing up over
Yeah,
it.
but it's harder.
It's harder.
It's harder to get in, but I can do it by myself.
You can do it by yourself. Okay. Right, which one is the most fun?
The T2 Longtail.
Why?
Because it is way faster, but this one, because there's more stuff to add to it, it's slower.
I mean, it's also slow because it's just set to be 15.5 miles per hour, whereas the T2 Longtail does have...
A super mode.
Overall, though, which one do you want to keep?
So I do worry about this bike that when I don't know where to put my hands because you fell off. Yeah.
So if we went over, that's where you put him. And I always tell him to grab onto the underside of the saddle if we're about to fall off. Yeah, you wouldn't, would you?
I'm a child.
Yeah,
what do you expect?
In a real crash, you'd probably be just like, ah! You'd probably hold on to them, wouldn't you? There's a backrest here. So you can just lean back. And also, when you are older, you could just take off this and not have it at all. So it is handy for younger kids, but you don't have to have it there. So the main reasons we'll be keeping the Fiido is that the cadence sensor and the throttle give a much more relaxed ride. The smaller cage makes it much easier to maneuver around objects and also feels stronger. It also has other parts to hold on to because I do worry that Will's hands could hit the road if we had a fall like I had on the LE20. Watch the review if you want to see that fall in full. Will much prefers sitting in the LE20. He loves the backrest, the fact that he doesn't have to climb in, and the larger foot pegs. It's really me that has made the decision to keep the Fiido. I really like the Fiido T2, and it also comes with a watch, but that is a bit pointless and it can shut the bike off when it moves out of proximity, which was annoying when I took Will to school and let him take in the watch. To fix it, I had to turn it off and turn it back on again. However, if you do need a fully legal cargo bike, then the Engwe LE20 is really fantastic. The torque sensor works really well, so moving away is extremely easy. That wouldn't be true of the Fiido if you used it without a throttle, as cadence sensors only kick in once you've started pedalling. The ability of the mid-drive motor to get up hills cannot be understated and gives a fairly effort-free 15-mile-per-hour ride, unlike some other bikes with torque sensors. I also hear there's a new software update for the LE20, which makes the ride even easier. The current base price of the T2 Longtail is just under £1,400, not including my discount codes. Check the description for discount codes for both bikes. With that, you get foot pegs, front platform and rear wooden seat included. The child padded seat and cage is an extra £132, and there are various other extras. The LE20 comes in at £1,449, but that is just for a single battery. Dual battery pushes the price up to £1,699, and the rear passenger cage with the brackets pushes the bike's price over £2,000 with 2 batteries. It is out of stock as I make this video, and again the prices don't include my discount codes, which are in the description below. You can get £200 off if the order is over £2,000. Which one you buy really depends on what you need and what you want to spend. I don't actually think the Fiido is a better bike, it just suits my needs more at present. Again, if you want a more in-depth look at either, then do watch the reviews. So there we have it. It looks like, unfortunately, I am going to be moving this one on, so it will be appearing at a Facebook marketplace near me, actually not you. If you are interested though, it's still a very nice bike. If you want to use any of the links to purchase this or the Longtail, they're in the description.
It doesn't cost you any extra, but it will pay for my dinner money.
And this one, although I did crash it, it's got damage on the cage, a scratch. It's got a scratch on the handle thing, but nothing on the actual bike itself. So thanks for watching. If this video helped, do leave us a thumbs up. If not, thumb us down, but let us know in the comments what was wrong so I can get better. Thank you for watching, and until next time,
Ride safe.
Woo.